Greetings to all. We're going live. Welcome to Dorsey's Resource. We're going live. Welcome to Dorsey's Resource. Thank you all for joining me. First, as usual, before we get started, this video is going to be for educational and entertainment purposes only. Please understand everyone's individual circumstance or situation may be different. It's up to every individual competent person to please do his own homework and research regarding the topic being discussed. This information is not to be construed as legal advice or financial advice. In the event you feel you need to seek a competent professional, it is encouraged you to at one's own leisure. Dorsey's Resource Channel is not liable or responsible for anyone's misuse of the information. Please keep in mind everyone is responsible for their own commercial affairs. All rights are reserved. Now, I want to get into the topic. I didn't plan to be before you guys that long. This is going to be a brief, hopefully, explanation I received from a subscriber regarding the Zimbabwe notes, the Zimbabwe dollar, dealing with the Iraqi exchange. I'm going to go over, I have gone over this topic in the past, by the way, just in case. When I first heard about this particular foreign currency, was sometime around 2014, I believe. I was listening to a conference call by TNT Tony. If some of you are familiar with TNT Tony, there was many different conference calls other than just that particular call that I listened to. By the way, when I would gather intel, I did do a lot of my own research in regards for currencies that are supposed to go along with the so-called global currency reset, not in regards to the Great Reset. That's something different from what I understand. Um, I won't go into that. I'm going to try to stay on topic. But this was a particular foreign currency I heard about years later after investing in the dinar at the time. And some other foreign currencies, by the way, many years ago. I had been knowing about, like I said, to reiterate, the Zim note, particularly dealing with the exchange. It was believed to be since around 2014. Now, I want to go over some people based on the information that they gathered. Some people didn't know about it because, from what I understand, it was intended to be private. It was intended to go in what was called the second basket. There was supposed to be like a second basket of currencies that was supposed to revalue. Now, a lot of things have changed throughout the years. That's one of the important things I want to go over, very similar to redemption education. By the way, a lot of things have changed. And because of that, I heard they moved it to the first basket. But originally, allegedly, if you believe the Zimbabwe note was real, if you had invested in it, by the way, for those that had believed in it or maybe had intel prior that a lot of people weren't privy to, then if you were holding that particular note, that currency, then you had faith that it was going to exchange. But at the time, I was informed, and I would listen. Mainly, the only person I heard at the time that would go over it was TNT Tony. Then I found out about a call named Bruce the Big Call. Now, this information I'm going over, you can actually look up. I had got an email from a subscriber. I normally, and it's also a public service announcement. I mentioned why I didn't really cover the Zim that much in comparison to the other foreign currencies because due to the nature of it being appeared to be more private and at a more elite level. Now, I mentioned I attended an event some years ago, by the way, that allowed me to be privy to some things in regards to the private sector. Now, I'm not talking about the private sector that's public, but an elite private sector known as the free private sector, by the way. And I think I learned and gathered an understanding of some things that still a lot of people in the general public may not be aware of, or people that are invested in this particular foreign currency. As usual, if you want to know more in depth, it's always encouraged to contact me. It's in the description box very simply. It helps me out, by the way, because YouTube is very public. And there's certain things I don't really like to go into details about. I have not had a chance to get around to starting a Patreon account yet. Other things I would have liked to have done in the past, I didn't get the help that I was looking for. And I have been working hard. Believe it or not, I still work a 9 to 5 job. By the way, that's where I'm actually at right now. You guys probably can tell the difference if you've been following my channel for a while. But there's some things I wanted to kind of update you guys on, but I don't want to put necessarily all of my business out there privately, and how I gather information and some of the sources that I had. I won't say that I have sources that are like real high up, like some particular gurus or alleged intel providers. I prefer to call them intel providers. I don't want to get caught up in titles, gurus, and stuff like that, because I have some people that come to me since I used to talk a lot about the dinar, did older videos. I'm not the foremost authority, and this is why I give a disclaimer. This is not financial. This is not investment. This is not legal advice. By the way, if you want me to hold you by your hand, or you want to know what I know, as once again, it's always encouraged, please set up a private consultation. That way you will learn more in depth. You'll get the real side of me. I won't hold back, by the way. But at the end of the day, people, if you believe in this type of investment, if you believe in exchange, you're going to have to make your own assessment. This is why I do give a disclaimer. You have to do your own homework, which I did this myself back in December of 2010. Towards the end, I had a friend that contacted me that reminded me, because I had been knowing about the Iraqi dinar officially since 2006. From what I can remember, there was these meetings I used to attend many years ago. I won't go into the details about those particular type of meetings. They were private, by invitation only, in the city of Detroit. By the way, I was one of the youngest people there at the time. I'm a lot older now. By the way, that's a long time ago, but I still have a good memory. And I remember one individual, elder, that used to come, used to mention that Chase Bank used to sell it. This is how I learned information about the dinar at the time. Now, the Zimbabwe note was a currency I learned many years later that allegedly was connected in this basket of currencies that was supposed to revalue. And originally I was informed, allegedly, by the way, because I'm not, like I said, I give a disclaimer, just going by my assessment. And I think it's important, if you know about conference calls, intel providers, it's important to stay abreast of them. Not only if you want to know more information, some people out there may have private consultations set up. There's some gurus out there or intel providers that have ways to contact them for those that are involved in those higher up private humanitarian projects, private things of that sort. If you're privy to that type of information, by the way, I wanted to keep this video brief. This is why I'm being vague. But once again, if you want to know more information, if you want to know what I know, and this is even including redemption education, it is always encouraged, set up a private consultation. My prices, because it is private, if you want to speak to me in person, I send a description box under the video. I've gone over this in the past, but it seems like I have some new subscribers out there. If you can afford it, my prices, you contact me by email. I'll send you the instructions for the links specifically. Very simple. Once I receive the payment, then I will contact you either through just through my Cash App or my PayPal, because it's private. You're speaking to me directly, by the way. Hold on a second. Radio check. Castleton copies loud and clear. You see, guys, as I mentioned earlier, I get these distractions. Thank you. What time is that radio check for? Uh, 140. Thank you. Copy. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. You obviously can tell, I'm at the what I call the slavery plantation. I'm a security guard, by the way, not police, but work in a form of private security. By the way, just so you know, that was just doing a quick radio check. But I'm back. So I just wanted to go over explanation about the Zimbabwe note once again to reiterate. I first found out around 2014 at the time. I listened to a conference call. I just did my own research, as everybody, people out there have the ability to do. I've gone over in the past vaguely at times. I have been asked a question. You guys know I've done Q&As before. I've had a video by request some years back from Currency 365. Big shout out to who's been a big supporter of mine. By the way, appreciate the brother out there if he is watching or listening. By the way, I want to contact, I want to get his email address because I haven't forgot for those who have set up private consultations in the past. When I'm able to get around to it, I have a special webinar that I would like to do for those who've ever donated to this channel or whoever had private consultation. You guys will get it specifically first. Some people's emails I don't have. I had to create on a side note a Word document, put a list, and I'm have to go back through my Gmail account. I didn't want it to get flooded. I have two main emails, but when you're a content creator and you're busy, I'm not wealthy like Jay-Z, Beyonce. I can't pay secretaries, and people at the same time don't want to help, but just people want to take. It can be quite difficult and frustrating at times, by the way. But it is for what it is. I'm not complaining. I do appreciate the support, appreciate you guys, and I wanted to give you guys action-packed information, also free information, other information people find ways to charge for, even things I'm going over in this video about. Some people find a comfort when they speak to me privately. They feel the confidence. I see people have told me this in the past, numerous people. They feel like they resonate with me. They think whatever reason that I'm more honest, appreciate it. It's a compliment to me, so they feel like they can trust me. And then some people may feel the same for other various people. People have their favorites out there. There are other people who do discuss this information. There's another content creator who I would consider a top intel provider who's on YouTube, and I'm subscribed to his channel. I like the work that he puts out. I'm just not saying the name right now. But if you want to know things like that, you want to know where I get my intel from, by the way, as I've been following this type of investment throughout the years, by the way, it's always encouraged. If you do set up a private consultation, you will learn things like that. I won't hold back, by the way. I will go over things because YouTube is a very public platform. By the way, I've already gone over this in the past. There's a lot of agents. There's gatekeepers out there. That's provocateurs. There's, minions, underlinks, and things. You guys already get it. But just going over, stay on the topic, the Zimbabwe note, by the way, it used to be cheaper at one time when you purchased the notes many years ago. When people found out, I would say quite a bit, probably found out from TNT's show. There was another conference call I listened to that I heard began to talk about it, and then also websites, by the way, that I would go to check would talk about information in regards, and just from simply just doing research and being interested, because I wanted to know if this is valid. I still have people ask me, and it appears as though this email that I received, this is sort of like a response. I did explain to them I would do an updated video to try to share what I can. But once again, it's always encouraged that if you do have the funds and have the ability, if you set up a private consultation with me, I will go more in depth. And I think I can actually, I won't say prove that there's some validity behind these investments, but I learned this from listening to TNT's call some years ago. There was a particular book that he mentioned just from doing the research, just listening to the calls. And I wouldn't be able to catch all the calls because some of the gurus, top intel providers put out so much content, it's hard to keep up with. So what I would do, I would meticulously listen and I would take notes. And I remember one particular conference call that I caught, he explained that he spoke to a banker and asked for this particular book that they had that went over and actually showed these different types of currencies. By the way, I could go more in depth. And what led me to the validity behind this investment, because once again, this ties in. Some people ask me, well, Dorsey, is this real? There's a lot of scams out there. Who do I believe? And at the end of the day, this is why I give a disclaimer. You have to make your own assessment. You have to make your own evaluation. Now, what I will say is the scams that did exist that involved with people that were into things like, or groups like counterfeiting. You can't do things like that. That's illegal. Those rules still apply to like anything or currencies. There were people doing things of that sort. There was also a particular online broker who got caught up. From what I heard, when I read the case online, they were raided by the FBI. I won't say the name, who they were. They were further south of where I'm at. I'm up north. And I heard, and I never liked this in the beginning, but I heard has something to do with layaways. Now, when I first found out about this, I knew a guy. He was a family guy. He already had a wife and kids. I'm still single, never had a family. I'm, still a bachelor, I guess. So many years ago, I would speak to other currency holders, people who were invested for this exchange, and we would share intel back and forth. And he liked to do the layaways, and I never liked the layaway. I was never a fan of it. I'm like, I feel if you have the funds, just go and get it out the way so you're not owing stuff. Me, kind of like, I don't like to be in debt, by the way, just for something small like that. Just knock it out. And I found out this particular currency dealer, aka broker online, got in trouble because somebody looked up and found a securities law that they were allegedly, when people would pay on the layaway, they were still supposed to send them the portion of what they purchased. Where if they had like a rule, if they didn't pay it off within so many days, they would lose the entire amount. And they found out, guy looked up, found out that violated some type of security law, so that got into investments or stuff like that. This is why I say this is not legal. This is not financial advice. By the way, one has to do their own homework and research, and they were rated by the alphabet agency I just mentioned, by the way, just for little small things like that, by the way. So if you keep your eyeglasses on, this is why when it comes to this, I have never told people to just go out there and just, buy, people, you have to make your own assessment. But I feel the need, if I can't help under the Good Samaritan's law, to try to help provide insight into the validity, things that are legit, by the way, the legitimate side, as far as where you can go to find intel. And I think it's important, if you are invested in this or have been for a long time, it's important to stay abreast, stay in touch with someone, someone who you may be aware that is aware of it and has faith. Now, I can't, I don't, we're all adults here. If you are competent, I don't hold anybody by their hand, just here sharing the information. So people have to keep that in mind. If you believe it, other than that, you can always, from what I know, and I found out years later, you can trade it back in for wherever you purchased it from. You may take a hit, but you can trade in the amount that you had. Some people sell their currency and stuff online or whatever. They sell it back that way. But for what I understand, if it was a legitimate or official currency exchange place, some online sites, I do know for sure, they will buy it back, but it would be at a cheaper amount. So say if you bought like $100 worth of dinar and you say, hey, I don't believe this anymore, I'm just tired of it, I think it's a scam, and you just wanted to sell it back, the rates would fluctuate. It'd be 70 or 80 bucks. Like, I would get emails from this one site, and they would share what the rates or what the current rates are. But I do also hear things are very close, as this has taken a long time, as we've been patiently waiting throughout the years, by the way. And I'm going to get to the chat section, by the way, just so you guys know. And I'm going to hurry up, wrap things up, because like I said, I didn't want to be before you guys that long. By the way, as you guys see, I'm at the work slavery plantation, as I like to call it. I should have been out of this place, would have been very happy if I would have been able to get out of this place a long time ago, had these investments happened and taken place years ago when they should have. I would not have had to be here, I promise you. God be my witness. I want to say something else, but I had to hold back sometimes. If you guys can understand the frustration. If you guys are watching the video, you guys like the content that I put out, don't forget to smash the thumbs up button. Doesn't hurt, it helps me rank higher in the search results. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe to the channel. You can follow me at Dorsey's Resource on Facebook. I'm on Twitter at Dorsey's Resource. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Minds.com. I'm on Parler. By the way, I'm also on Rumble at Dorsey's Resource. I have the video that was recently taken away by, the tube, by the way, censor. Is on Rumble now. I uploaded it for the first time. Very first video over there is action-packed with a lot of information because they didn't like I said something in regards to the election. By the way, and I wanted to come before you guys earlier, but I understand I'm on a graveyard shift. There's a lot of things I've been going through behind the scenes. It's been very difficult. I like to be straight up with you guys. It's like it's by design. There's a lot of, I can't say gatekeepers out there, people trying to intentionally make certain people's lives miserable because they expose certain information to show you they're evil people. When I talk about what I talked about in the previous video, that stuff is real. I've done my research. You guys can look those books up. I share it with a subscriber where you can find those books online on Amazon, eBay, just by doing a manual search. If you're ever wondering, those books, magazines I showed, where do you purchase them from? You can just do a search online. I'm a researcher. That's what I do. It's to me, it's easy. I'm giving you guys, I'm equipping you all with the skill sets, the tools, by the way, to be able to have the abilities and things. So I'm jumping the chat real quick. John Newman, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing the name, says, yo, Dorsey, God bless. God bless you. Appreciate you. Saul G says, yo, appreciate you, Saul. Thank you for joining. And Sanders says, hey, and in the building. Jalen Randolph says, peace, family. Appreciate you. M. Loritz 06 says, good to see you, Dorsey. Appreciate you. Thank you for joining. M. Loritz Crypto Frontier says, it just seems to me that the Zim note is too good to be true. But now, no matter what, I'm getting rid of my Zim unless it's RV. Laugh out loud. Yeah, and I feel you. Yeah, it does appear that way. And that's why I said I would do this video. But if you want to know more in depth, some other things I'm not going into details about how it pertains to the private sector, the free private sector that goes up to the ruling class elite, and I can explain certain things or certain types of accounts and stuff like that. You have to set up a private consultation for me to go more in depth about things if you want to know what I know. And there's that book that I mentioned earlier. I learned from listening to TNT's call some years ago. What gave me some validity before I got the radio check earlier, got thrown off a little bit. I went to a bank institution I used to bank with. I'm probably going to try to set up an account with them again, by the way, hopefully in the near future. At the time, I saw a currency booklet they had, by the way, that a lady teller was flipping through it at one time when they used to tell their tellers, they used to instruct them to tell them that we don't deal with the dinar, or they would say it's a terrorist currency because of the status of the country, similar to Iran. At the time, they would say adamantly, we don't deal with the dinar. Then it trickled down to a teller level. And I would get information like this. I would listen to TNT's call, would let me know there was validity. I've never met him before. By the way, I just want to put that on the record, but it shows I do my research, my homework, by the way, which I encourage you guys to do. That's why I also give a disclaimer. But I saw the teller flipping through, and it seems like she was trying to help me. She was genuine. This was many years ago. I can't say what particular year. Then another higher up came over and ushered it, the booklet away. And this is right at the teller stand at a particular institution. By the way, I saw this with my own eyes. I was like, wow, this privately one day, because I would inquire about it at the time many years ago. Then but this Intel provider, TNT, as years progressed, as I kept up with the Intel, let's say from 2011 going into 2012, 2014, jump ahead, 2016, 2017, 2018, somewhere in that time frame, he might have mentioned. I heard when I would catch his calls, I couldn't catch as many. He said starting to trickle down where the branch managers are starting to find out of the tellers, but they may be, in some instances, to sign NDAs or non-disclosure agreements. I don't know, but I was just listening to what he was sharing, and that seemed possibly the case when I found out there was another currency that was connected that the same institution started selling, and I saw confirmation. I won't say how, but I saw, an actual, receipt, basically. So if this was a scam or if it was fake, then I think certain individual institutions would get in trouble. Now, I did talk about the stuff briefly. You have to separate, make your own assessment. What are scams? What's not? Like people that are in the counterfeiting stuff like that, and someone that was like breaking securities rules. Remember, there's rules and stuff you have to follow dealing pertaining to that stuff. But I like to talk about the legitimate side of things, very similar to redemption education. Not everything is a scam. It's just when people have never heard of something before. Sometimes when people get information relayed to them, they think that it's an urban legend, it's a fairy tale, it's a myth. And I say, always, treat things as such. But if you are interested, do your homework. That's what I did, by the way. I'm not telling you to do what I do, but I'm encouraging you because that's why I give a disclaimer. Legally, Dorsey's Resource is not responsible or liable for what you do. Everyone is responsible for their own commercial affairs. I can tell you things, I can give you my opinion privately. I can go more in depth sometimes because YouTube is public and I can share my opinions, but you have to make your own assessment at the end of the day. Just keep that in mind, by the way. So that was a good statement, Crypto Frontier. I agree with you. Jalen Randolph says, I got a question about the trademark. When I trademark my straw man, it asked me for a DBA. What should my DBA be? Should I do a DBA as my straw man as well? I don't plan on using my straw man for business. Okay. I don't really have the time to go into that. This main topic of this video actually was mainly for the Zimbabwe notes in relation to the GCR global currency reset dealing with the Iraqi dinar. There's a reason that the Iraqi dinar was one of the main currencies. I heard the Chinese yuan took over maybe as the lead world reserve currency. But the reason there was a lot of emphasis placed on the dinar, just to give a little background, because of the resources that Iraq had, oil and things, other things, minerals and stuff of that sort. That's why U.S. corporations invested, such as Pepsi, Coca-Cola, other major corporations that had entities over there. And I could go more in depth as to how those things take place. I appreciate you guys joining me, but I intended for this video to be brief. By the way, and I just wanted to give a quick rundown. If you want to know more information, or Jalen, about if you want me to answer that question, it's always encouraged to set up a private consultation. I can go more in depth. I can send templates. I may even can send a webinar. I have a webinar specifically that talks about things in relation to that. By the way, that question you had. By the way, in the description box, if you are interested in contacting me, and it's private, it's my Gmail account is j279dorsey@gmail.com, j279dorsey@gmail.com. But should be in the description box of the video. As soon as I receive the payment, I will get back with you. Generally, if I can, if it's the same day, I'll try to get back with you. If not, it'll be the following day. I'm generally off. My best off day is Sundays, but lately I've been because the stuff that's been going on, they can't find dependable, reliable people. I've been really on 6 days a week, maybe even 7 days, possibly. Hopefully not. Maybe I can find a break there. By the way, Kangaroo Jack says, do you know if the dong and the Indonesian rupiah is going to revalue? Thanks for your service and time. To answer your question, since that is related to the topic, Kangaroo Jack, I heard it's in the first basket, but I also heard they combine both baskets. The second basket, what they call offering, first offering and second offering. Now they've changed the name to confirm. I could go a lot more in depth how many things have changed throughout the years. Very similar to redemption, SPC stuff, secured party creditor information, aka sovereignty. They've changed things. So from what I understand, it should. Those currencies were in the same basket, by the way. So I will be on the lookout. I do hear things are around the corner, but hey, I heard they don't really want people to know dates and rates. They don't want people to know dates and rates. Peter Roberts says, hey, dude, appreciate you, Peter. Thank you for joining. Zelda Thomas says, check resources of the countries you have foreign currencies in. When you see Zimbabwe resources, amazing. Yes, thank you for the intel and for your help, Zelda, to let other subscribers know. Jalen Randolph says, thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Well, with that being said, guys, appreciate you for your time. Here I have to get back. If you want to follow me, Dorsey's Resource, Once again, you can follow me on Facebook at Dorsey's Resource. I'm on Twitter at Dorsey's Resource. I'm on minds.com at Dorsey's Resource. I'm also on Rumble. I only have that one video that was removed by YouTube. The video I discussed in the previous video that got a community guideline strike. That's on Rumble now. If you want to see that video, it's on Rumble. I was able to get it down, by the way. Action-packed video, by the way. So everything should be in the description box if you want to follow me on social media, if you want to set up a private consultation. Appreciate you guys. Once again, I'm your host, John Dorsey. Until next time, signing out. The marathon will continue. Real legends never die. They live in our hearts forever. Deuces, I'm out. Peace.